What's up, everyone, and welcome to ROBEYTECH, where I, Justin Robey, also known as Roby1 Kenobi, talk tech with you wonderful people. We're going to get you up to speed on everything going on in the PC, hardware, and gaming world. In today's episode, we've got game delays, Mixer making money moves, Fallout having a falling out with its community, and more. So stay a while and listen. This is ROBEYTECH. You know what, Brian? I really like that cool intro. We should play it again now. Last of Us 2. Delay of game. We're no stranger to games launch delays as goalposts and yardsticks constantly change throughout a game's development. Last month, Sony and Naughty Dog had announced the launch date for the hotly anticipated Last of Us 2, which was slated for February 21st in 2020. But not so fast! In an article published by Kotaku and then later confirmed by Sony, we've discovered that the game will be delayed until May 29th in 2020. Now, this is a little odd since they've previously held an event where the game was in a playable state. And if you haven't seen the trailer, it is absolutely gorgeous. But still, this is pretty weird. Fallout? Do you guys remember Fallout 76? Yeah, that game actually came out, and nearly no one actually liked the game. Now, since the game's launch, they've added a Battle Royale mode, which no one plays. So, Bethesda deciding, what's the next best thing we could do? I don't know, wait for it? You know, I got it, a subscription service. What? For $12.99 a month, or $99.99 a year, you can subscribe to Fallout 76 and get access to allegedly private servers, unlimited scrap storage, a survival tent, 1,650 atoms to use in the atomic shop, the Ranger armor outfit, and unique icons and emotes. Oh boy. The more we look at this, the more it feels like buying into a deluxe edition of the game rather than a subscription. Now, you may notice that I emphasize the word allegedly. Well, that's because players that have opted in to use the service, which boggles my mind. What are you doing? Well, first of all, they're reporting that the private servers aren't actually private. The worlds aren't newly created, with players reporting dead NPCs and areas that have already been looted. This leads us to believe that these aren't new private instances, just reused old instances that no one is using anymore. You know, like the entire game. It's also interesting to find out that players with larger friends lists, like myself, I have a lot of friends, Brian. Did you know that? Shut up. No, you can just stop. Let me live in my fantasy land. Find out that players with larger friends lists are unable to prevent players from joining their private servers. That's not very private. And for the scrap storage, well, let's just hope that this is not implemented yet, because multiple players have reported that after depositing hundreds of units of scrap in these new boxes, the boxes got a bit hungry and, ate it all. As in, it's not there anymore. Yikes. So far, players have paid to play old, not entirely private servers and lose all their materials. Now, there hasn't been any information out of Bethesda about this or any way to recover lost materials. So if you happen to be one of those handful of players still running around in Fallout 76, you might want to pass on that old subscription service. I know we have. What about you? Are you going to subscribe there, Brian? No. Okay, good. That's a smart man right there. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm sure and I'm hoping you're aware, but Mixer has been making some money moves recently, with Ninja moving over to the platform to stream exclusively. Now, Mixer has shown they aren't done signing heavy hitters with the announcement that Shroud is making the same switch from Twitch to Mixer. Shroud is a former CSGO pro player, and he is migrating his 7 million follower fan base on Twitch and 5.5 million follower fan base on YouTube over to Mixer. Now, his games of choice are PUBG, Call of Duty, Blackout, Rainbow Six Siege, and Apex Legends. And he was even playing the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare today. In fact, he had a 7-hour just wait for it stream. And then at 5 o'clock he went live and he had over 75,000 people waiting. It was bonkers. Now, the question you might ask is, why the switch? Now, Shroud stated that Mixer provides the flexibility for him to center his attention around the fans that helped him to get to where he is now and continue building relationships with both players and fans. But is the strategy working for Mixer as well? Now that's an interesting question. According to Streamlabs data, the number of unique channels streaming on the platform nearly doubled in the last quarter from 1.95 million to 3.9 million, and the total number of hours spent streaming to Mixer went from 11.3 million to 36.2 million. Now that's a huge increase in the number of streamers, but it hasn't really translated to number of viewers. We've seen a lot more people streaming, but not as many people viewing. In fact, there was a big spike, and then it just kind of teamed down. Now, Twitch did confirm that, similar to Ninja's channel, anyone currently subscribed to Shroud would get free 1-month sub to another channel, and then their subscriptions wouldn't auto-renew. It's funny how I say that stuff. It's like, I don't know, it's like a Freudian slip or something like that. Anyway, let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are on Mixer acquiring heavy hitter talent. Now, Mike Ybarra, good old Mike Ybarra, is Blizzard's new EVP and GM. A few weeks ago, one of my good friends and the CVP of Xbox, Mike Ibarra, and if you were hanging out on my channel, you know he was here a couple weeks ago in my old Mixer stream, has announced that 20 years of working at Microsoft and hanging out at Xbox, he's leaving the company, but hadn't mentioned publicly where he's going next, until yesterday. Now, all we know is that he's heading for Blizzard. Mike is going to be the Executive Vice President and GM starting on November 4th. He will be going to BlizzCon, so if you are going, be sure to say hello and congratulate him on his new position. Now, Mike, if you're watching, and you should be because we're best friends, right? Right? Mike, come on! We're best friends! I feel so alone already. Anyway, man, congrats, dude. Seriously, nothing but love. And we're all super interested to see what direction you're going to take Blizzard and their games. Let's talk a little bit about NVIDIA RESHADE. We've been talking a lot about games, and we should talk a little bit about tech. I want to cover a little bit. What some of you may not know what RESHADE is or what it does. Now, if you've seen someone modding Skyrim using any lighting effects, chances are you've seen its effects. Basically, and I'm sorry, I'm going to try and be basic here. Basically, what RESHADE does is just that. It reshades a game's lighting engine. It gives you the ability to use post-processing injectors to add SMAA anti-aliasing, screen space ambient occlusion, or cranking up or tuning down the vibrance of colors and shifting the balance of all those different colors. I know that I said basically. Really, at a basic level, it just makes it look different. Easily. Okay? That's just trying to boil it down. Well, now NVIDIA has decided that the GeForce Experience is going to officially support ReShade with a new driver releasing alongside the GTX 1660 Super and use a similar interface to the NVIDIA Freestyle of Ansel. NVIDIA hasn't said anything about being able to import your favorite ReShade presets, but that will be able to tap into hundreds of filters. Now finally, I can make WoW Classic look just like Skyrim. Why would I do that, Josh? I think there's some sort of funny B-roll here, so just go with Josh laugh a lot. Ha ha ha! You're so funny, Josh. Ha ha ha! Let's talk about TechTube Tastic. Now, this is a segment we started last week. Now, we've reached the part of the show where we recap what our favorite TechTubers have been up to this week in our TechTube Tastic segment. First of all, let's talk about Bitwit. It was Bitwit's birthday this week. Happy birthday, Bitwit. Happy birthday, Mr. Bitwit. That's right, you can't unsee that. You can't unsee that. Anyway, he and Wafy Sauce vlogged it in style. He basically went to a haunted house, played some weird music, like happy music over it. It was like super strange, but it was super entertaining. You should go check it out. He also showed us setting up his Ubiquiti Unify Protect system and what the impact of restricting airflow to your system can have when you're doing it with duct tape. It's actually very, very interesting. You should also check that out. Over at Jay's 2 Cents, Jay covered the hack of NordVPN. For those of you who don't know, NordVPN is actually one of his advertisers that he does, and he wanted to talk about what it means and what it also means for his channel. He also talked about how much gaming performance is affected by memory. That one right there is definitely worth a watch. Over at Optimum Tech, he covered some recent products he's received in the form of the compact 5700 XT from PowerColor and the very small but extremely powerful Asus Crosshair 8 Impact from Asus. If you are a small form factor enthusiast like he is, you are going to want to check out these products. Over at Hardware Canucks, it was Phone Week. And it seems on Hardware Canucks, as they talked about the disappointment around the Pixel 4, which I will just say universally is kind of a theme over on YouTube right now. He also covered the Zenfone 6 after an extended use and finally talked about a $700 gaming PC that they called the most affordable gaming PC they have ever built. It was actually pretty sweet. You should check that one out. Now, Linus covered the gamut the week, also covering the disappointment of the Pixel 4, answered your question about whether you should invest in the Facebook camera, and he also builds the ultimate Minecraft server. Now, let me break this down for a second. He was like, we are going to build the best Minecraft server money can buy, which immediately I responded to, I'm going to now build the best Minecraft server money can buy. Until I realized that he was putting dual i9-9900Ks in there, of which he then went and made sure that the silicon he could run at 5 gigahertz, which means it's uber expensive. He put them all in a custom chassis, and at that point in time, I lost all interest in spending money on a more expensive Minecraft server because he had already spent more money than I was willing to do. Finally, he also overclocked a $5,000 PC from over a decade ago. It was pretty funny and looks super, super frustrating. So if you want to go check that out and watch Linus be Linus, you should go give that a go. Over at Paul's Hardware, man, this one, he put a gaming PC in a pumpkin. I mean, what else is there? It's October. Why not put a gaming PC in a pumpkin? He also talked about some unconventional tools he uses for PC building. Be sure to go check out, subscribe to all the channels we mentioned here. We'll have all those links in the description below so you can check them out. They are great people. Well, that's it for ROBEYTECH today. Let us know what you thought about the news today in the comments below. Are you sad about The Last of Us 2 being delayed? Is Fallout 76 worth a subscription to you? If you said yes, please stop. What do you think about Shroud switching from Twitch to Mixer? Now, while you're down there, be sure to slap that subscribe button, whip that like button, and ring the notification bell so you got a notification each and every time we post a new video. Also, head over to mixer.com/Robey1Kenobi and give us a follow over there on our live show every Wednesday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific. And finally, check us out on Twitter at Robey1Kenobi. Thanks so much for watching. Now go play some games, and specifically go play Outer Worlds, because it's amazing, and you should be playing it, not watching this. No, I'm just kidding. You should watch this too. I'm really torn on what to do right now. Oh, you're still here. You can go now. #BeefyCourse.